Biden's bumpy start to Iran negotiations, the new administration taking heat this morning following a Washington Times report that Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif met with climate envoy John Kerry and other Democrat officials in an effort to, quote, undermine the Trump White House. That would be the Logan Act. This comes as the Iranian government halted snap inspections of its nuclear facilities by the International Atomic Energy Agency yesterday. Supreme Leader Khamenei said Iran might enrich uranium up to 60% purity if the country needed it. Joining me right now is Fox News senior strategic analyst, General Jack Keane. General, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Your reaction to these negotiations with Iran?
Well, this has been a pattern that's been going on for almost the whole 4 years of the Trump administration, with not just John Kerry, but other members of the previous administration. And the latest one occurred with Robert Malley in 2019, and he's designated as the envoy from the State Department for Iran. I mean, I personally believe that this is absolutely appalling behavior that's reckless and significantly irresponsible. Iran is our enemy. They state so multiple times a year. They have killed hundreds of Americans over the 40 years that they have been in power, blowing up 2 of our embassies, 2 of our barracks, targeting American soldiers in Iraq, and taking scores of hostages over that 40-year span. Any doubt that is an enemy? Why would previous administration officials be talking to our enemy like this while another government administration is in power? Are they likely saying you should support the Trump crippling sanctions by going to the negotiation table to remove those sanctions? I doubt that seriously. What we're speculating, and what the Washington Times believes they have evidence of, is that they're telling an arch enemy of ours to undermine the Trump administration's U.S. stated policy by resisting the Trump sanctions and waiting, I would imagine, for a new administration to come in that's friendly to Iran, as the as the Obama-Biden administration was 4 years ago. This behavior has to be called out. It is unprecedented. Listen, the opposition party in America has a right to speak out against U.S. policy to the American people, and the American people have a right to hear those opposition views. But that's not what we're talking about here. We are talking about undermining U.S. stated policy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And not only that, but the hypocrisy is just beyond. Back in 2016, they wanted to put General Michael Flynn in jail, saying that he abused the Logan Act for talking to somebody as he was actually about to take office for the incoming administration. And here you have John Kerry running around talking to these Iranians and perhaps telling them to undermine Trump, a sitting president.
Oh, it's indisputable. I think that's exactly what it is. The Logan Act, no one's ever been prosecuted for it. It's always been waved out there, as a red flag. But this behavior has to be called out as it's currently being done. And we can't go down this road again to undermine U.S. policy, no matter how much an opposition party disagrees with that policy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you made this point. Let me ask you about China. Now we're hearing from Chinese senior diplomats saying that they want to repair Chinese-U.S. relations, but in order to do it, they want to stop smearing the CCP and remove all tariffs on Chinese goods. That's the only way to repair the relationship, apparently, according to the Chinese communists. The State Department hit back, saying that the comments only reflect Beijing's tendency to avert blame for predatory economic practices, General. These tensions come as Catherine Tai, the Biden U.S. Trade Representative nominee, is set to have her confirmation hearing this upcoming Thursday. What's your take on what we're hearing out of the communists trying to convince President Biden to remove sanctions, to remove tariffs? Only then will we be able to have a new policy.
Yeah, well, they want us to remove sanctions and tariffs and also stop the belligerent speech and the strong rhetoric condemning China for its behavior. This is kind of rich, in my view. This is typical of the Chinese. It's correct saying avert That's what they do. They want to change the narrative, conduct a misinformation campaign. But listen, the world is now on to this, Maria. We've seen these guys do this time and time again. The world knows and watched China crush Hong Kong, intimidate and coerce Taiwan on a regular basis, conduct a military expansion into the South China Sea, imprison over 1 million Uyghurs who are being forced into sterilization, forced into abortions, and women are being massively raped as they're in forced labor camps, and conducted the most massive cyber espionage campaign against the United States in our history. We got it. And we're not going to buy that false narrative that they're putting out now, that it's the United States has to change their behavior and attitude to get the Chinese cooperation on the pandemic and climate change. That is rubbish and it's nonsense, and nobody's going to buy it.
Well, the American people understand that's rubbish, but do you think the Biden administration understands that? The other night in his town hall, he suggested that Uyghurs being locked up is a cultural norm. A cultural norm in China.
Yeah, well, I'm not an apologist for the Biden administration, but I'll give the president something of a benefit of the doubt on that. I mean, they haven't explained that comment. I mean, you could take it either way as being tolerating that behavior, but they've also spoken out strongly against the Chinese imprisonment of the Uyghurs and condemn them for the other behavior that I'm talking about. What I'm waiting to see is the Biden administration's actions beyond the rhetoric. I want to see if their actions are going to match their rhetoric.
Absolutely. That's what we all need to see, and we are waiting for that, and we'll spotlight it. General, it's great to see you as always. Thank you so much. Really important
great talking
points
to Maria.
made this morning.